Built Better, the podcast for home improvement contractors by Modernize Home Services.
Welcome to Built Better, a podcast by Modernize Home Services, where we explore and highlight trends and topics around contractor marketing. I'm Don Pucci. I'm the Director of Account Management at Modernize and your host. By my side is virtually Mr. Chris Pallatroni, the co-founder of Modernize. Hey there, Chris. I see you in the box.
Hey, everybody. For those that cannot see me, I am in my office in Northern California enjoying the Texas heat. So pleasure to be with you guys virtually.
Yeah, you're lucky you're not having to feel the Texas heat, because I just had to climb it seemed like 90 steps to get over here.
Drink a beer.
Immediately following this, for sure. I'm looking into the monitor, and actually Chris is just in the ether, so I don't know where to look these days. But so we have another Chris as our first guest here at the Texas Roofing Conference. If you can hear the background noise, we're live at the Texas Roofing Conference. Joining us from Kincaid Roofing is Chris Kincaid. Chris is actually a board member of the Texas Roofing Conference. So very excited to have Chris today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Man, excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me, and look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to, we'll talk for about 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Just want to get an idea really of your background, kind of what brought you to the roofing conference. How'd you become a board member? All that good stuff. A lot of questions, but just give me an idea.
The Cliff Notes, I was a storm chaser. I went to Texas Tech University and started chasing storms as a salesman in 2003, and did that through college. Worked for another company after I graduated, and then started Kincaid Roofing shortly after that. I was tired of storm chasing. For me, it was hard on my family. My wife and I have been together for 22 years now. High school sweethearts, and so when you go off to go chase a hailstorm, it's not fun, it's not easy, and they're not always following you, especially when you're in college. So my goal was to start a local roofing company and to not have to chase, and I knew it was the long game. And so we've got good years, bad years, kind of like farmers, and so you work what you have, the big storms, the small storms, and so I've been very blessed to stay busy and be able to grow my company. It's hard to grow a company when you're dependent on storms, when you're not chasing. The guys that chase, there's a lot of great companies that do that, but they know they're going to have that set revenue wherever they go. Or not set, but these places are going to get blasted, so there's definitely going to be work. In my market in Lubbock, homeowners don't replace their roofs unless they're getting hit by hail, because why would they? There's a good chance they'll get hit every 3 or 4 years, so they're not going to come out of pocket for it. So it's that's kind of the trick, is to stay busy and be prepared for the big storms. So I've been a roofing contractor since owned company since 2006, and it's kind of a lot of the issues that we deal with now. With materials, supplies, and one of the hottest topics is deductibles. I have another company that I'll shamelessly mention.
Give us that plug. Let's go.
Fund My Deductible. So that's one reason you're asking why we're here. I've got a number one, I'm on the RCAT board, and was on the when our board meeting, and then we're a vendor for Fund My Deductible, because it's an issue that a lot of contractors are dealing with, and different laws have been passed. I can talk about if you want, that have changed the game.
Yeah. Let's definitely circle back on that. We've got a few questions for you. Talk about storm chasing. I don't know what the first thing that comes to mind is the movie Twister. Storm chaser.
Cows flying in the air.
Yeah, another cow. I think that was the same one. We're just coming out of COVID. It actually feels really good to be maskless in a indoor facility with bunch of people here, and
it feels a little odd. It just
doesn't it, right? I feel pretty good though.
Absolutely.
I had my first indoor dining experience a couple weeks back, and so I feel like I took the Band-Aid off. But post COVID, it's going to be a topic of conversation.
Sure.
You've been a storm chaser. That's tough, right? So you've got your own business for almost 20 years now. I guess what's the hardest thing that you've encountered over the last year through COVID? Like, what's been the challenge for you?
So as far as where we're from, West Texas, it's not. I won't say freaked out about COVID, but it was a lot more laid back with it. We still had a lot of, stuff that we had to deal with, but our homeowners, most of them, we would ask them, hey, would you like us to wear a mask, or how do you want us? So we can do this, Zoom call, but we always like to give presentations. They at least see us, we never drop off an estimate or a bid. So that took away a lot of that if they did. I would say maybe only 10% of the homeowners would want us to do it virtually, so that was, we really weren't affected as far as much as that goes. Like I know other parts of the country that are, a little bit different than we are, but really material and increases is unprecedented. And I think that'll be echoed over and over and over again. But, Lubbock had a life-changing storm for me in 2018. That was the big one that I'd been waiting on. The prior big one to that was 2009. So I've been building and laying groundwork for 9 years before that storm hit. And that was great. And then we got hit again in 2019. Another storm hit a different part of town. But then 2020, 3 years in a row, we get another good storm. But it hit the area that had already been hit in 18. Most of the houses had been roofed. You've got COVID and you've got a deductible law. And homeowners, you want to show up to somebody's house and you just saw them, a year and a half ago, they just got blasted again. And so, that's kind of been some of the challenge. That was a challenge in 2020 with COVID is you had three main factors, but now the supply house has never really caught back up in anything, whether you're talking about PVC pipe to chips for cars to roofing material to nails to you name it. So it's been one of those. The main thing with my sales team that we've talked about is setting expectations. And it sounds kind of cliche, but you sit down with Mrs. Jones and she wants that, that black Owens Corning roof. We're Owens Corning Platinum contractor. We all lead with Owens Corning, but I don't know if I'm not Mrs. Jones, it's going to take maybe 4 months to get that roof put on, to get that material in, and I'm not going to sacrifice the quality and put another brand on.
Right.
So, but if your salesmen don't set that, and they're going to say, oh yeah, we can get it on, a month, 2 months, and you don't set those expectations properly, you're going to set yourself up for failure. But most homeowners know it because it's not just the roofing industry. They've tried to buy washers and dryers, and they see the how much our supply chain has been interrupted. And they're talking, I don't really see roofing prices really never go down. Plywood starting I think the plywood futures I saw are not, have come down a little bit finally, but it's one of those things that's not going away. And so,
before the lumber shortage started, I actually did a little renovation in my house and I built, Chris is in his shed right now. If you could see, he's in the shed in Santa Rosa, California, and he inspired me to build a shed of my own. So I actually did a plywood ceiling. And I bought way too much plywood. I've got plywood and I've got 2x4s in my garage right now. I'm about to eBay that stuff and make a killing.
It's gold.
It's wild.
Gold. So a sheet of plywood a year and a half ago was $7 to $8 right now. $48 to $55 for a 4x8 sheet of plywood.
Yeah.
So,
that's
a lot
wholesale
of
prices. I mean, you go to Home Depot, you're talking about probably double that, right?
So these homeowners are building homes. They're going back to their bank. Hey, our lumber package just doubled. It was $60,000. Now it's $120,000. And so the issue they're running into there, I'm going to get off course, but the appraised value, all of a sudden, they were right. Their appraised value was perfect before. And now they're, everything just went up. And so now they can't get a loan, or if they do, they're having to modify stuff. And it's been a nightmare. Metal's not going down anytime soon. And the demand on it has been just great. And they just, my understanding is they just can't get caught up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, are people switching off of asphalt to metal just to try to guard against all these storms?
All of it's kind of hard to get. I think metal's probably easier to get, but the prices, we're up 35 to 40%. So, I mean, you want to build your metal building, it's all metal. I'd say it was going to be $120,000. Now you're looking at $200,000.
Jeez.
But, they're saying maybe first quarter next year start to ease up and come back down. But it's, really a lot of decisions are being made. People are waiting on stuff waiting and putting projects off. But as far as and then it's also forcing contractors to look at other materials. Like I said, we lead with Owens Corning. We're a platinum contractor, and it's I feel it's one of the best shingles on the market. But if another roofer comes in and says, hey, they can put XYZ shingle on and have it done next week, that forces me to either lose that sale if they're really wanting to get it done, especially real estate transactions, because, they get bought and sold, and, they have, 20 days to close. So it forces us to go outside of our comfort zone, our sphere. So now, we lead with Owens Corning, but it's like, hey, there's, we also put on CertainTeed and GAF, and not just, we're a softer sell on it because you have to be, because if not, you could get caught in a position where you can't get the material. Yeah. So some of it's manufacturers, I won't name which one it is, but they're just making black and gray shingles this year. They got a product line of 10, but it's actually, pretty smart. Those are the most common colors for the most part. Right. At least in our area. So it's like, we're just going to make the most common ones. We're going to have a lot of those. And, if Mrs. Jones wants brown, then I guess they're going to have to go use something else. But that's, I got a email the other day that a certain manufacturer's not making starter strip. Well, that's for them to sell their system warranties. You have to use their starter, but now they're not going to make their starter. So you're going to have to put, maybe another brand on. And I don't know how that's going to work, because those system warranties, you have to use so many components of a manufacturer's product to get that warranty. And so now, starter, it's like the most basic. That's starter. That's what the shingles, the first row of the shingles seal to, and they're not making starter.
So every step of the supply chain is really affected. Man,
it's just, yes. When I saw that the other day, that's my jaw really hit. I'm like, they're not making starter. Like, wow, So yeah, from every aspect of it, and labor issues too. A lot of guys, when it was slow, people went into different businesses doing different things, and now, now that the demand and the need is there, that it's not there. So good labor is always a commodity, in my opinion, and something that you'll pay to keep. That's the thing. When you got your good labor, I'm going to pay more. Definitely pay more the best I can to keep those guys. Right. So it's all around the horn. It is not easy to be a contractor, roofing, window, general contractor, anything.
So you got, forgive me, the perfect storm.
Yeah.
I can't stop with the puns.
If I was the Lord himself, I could not have drawn up a better storm in 2018.
Seriously, right? So you got the perfect storm. You've got supply chain issues from COVID. I'm curious. So the salesperson to me thinks, well, so you've got so much demand, so it's almost like lay down sales, but you've got so much supply problems. Is it like a flat from a net perspective on winning business? Like when you go in the home, you got demand, so it's an easier sale, so your gross close rate is going to increase. But then when you tell them, hey, lead time is 4 to 6 months, something like that, and they're like, well, I'll find somebody else to do it. Is that's where we just set expectations and sell in our company. And Miss Jones, I don't want to sacrifice quality and use another brand or shingle that I'm not comfortable with that I can get. And so if you're willing to wait, then we're your company. And if not, we'll definitely walk away. There's certain brands that there's no way I would use because it's just we're going to end up having issues with it. But most of them are not in that big of a hurry. They understand it. So they're not just hearing it from us. Like I said, they're hearing it from furniture to washers and dryers and everything. So it's a different market. So like I said, just setting the expectations with the homeowners and what they're going through, and most of them are understanding and will work with you. They don't like it. Like people don't like paying their deductible, but they do, or they're going to have to. So and when you put that to them like that, if it's a quality thing, I don't want to do this for that. I'm sure you understand that. I always say shake their nod their nodder and grin their grinner, and they get it. Yeah. So yeah, it's different though. We don't sell as hard on the products and services that we did. We sell softer so we can have some leeway to move them into another product, another color, another design of shingle that we can get. Right. And so it's just you got to be flexible right now. You can't be rigid. I want to bring the man in the box in. Chris.
Yeah, I actually had a question for you, Chris. When you look at these challenges and getting all this product in, how do you look at your business over the course of the next 12 to 18 months? Like, do you look at it as like an opportunity to grow and kind of lean into this, diversify the trades? Like, how do you make decisions to kind of roll with the punches that you're faced with? I think that's just such an important thing, because to your point earlier, there's so many contractors out there that are being faced with this, and they have to make decisions of, do we diversify? Do we shrink? Do we lean into this? I'd be curious to get your perspective.
That's a great question. So my goal is to hold ground. I don't want to give up ground in my market. I think that's kind of everybody's goal. I don't know if everybody's in a big growth mindset right now, in at least my area. Number one, we hadn't had a storm. But just keeping the customers you have, getting the roofs that you've got on order, still going to get those jobs produced and built, and we have considered other projects and different, whether we're going to go to solar or do more windows, because we do some windows, but it was always a upsell after we sold the roof. They're happy with the roof. They loved us. Hey, Mrs. Jones, hey, we thought about windows, but now it's kind of like start advertising windows, but windows, you can't get windows, all of these products, so we're trying to find something that wouldn't put us in a position where we're, in the same spot. But so windows and siding is that's definitely another issue that they're not getting theirs in either. So, but we are thinking creatively as far as products and how we can change what we do. Because if this continues, then you're really going to have to. So we want to get out ahead of that.
Thinking painting. We could slap some latex.
I don't know. Maybe they probably have issues getting paint right now. I don't know. That's not a trade we deal with a lot. But you never know. You got to something with the homes and to use our network. And that's one thing that that I've thought about. We've got probably 7,000 or 8,000 customer base that whatever we do decide to launch into, we can contact them. So hey, now we're I'm making this up. We're now Kincaid Bug Tech. We're gonna.
You got a DBA. You got a DBA.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got that. We've got that built-in trust. We've got that built-in network of homeowners that trust us, and so we will leverage that if we need to. But funny times call for being creative, and it's we're not to that point yet, but something that you can't put out can't put out for sure.
Yeah. How many? If you don't mind me asking, how many jobs are you writing every month at this point? Is it changed from prior to COVID?
So this time last year, so in 2018 we were building about 30 roofs a week. So that's it's humping pretty good for us. Yeah. I know there's a lot of contractors that probably do that in a day, but that's a good pace. It's a lot of material going on off. It's a lot of issues that you can have if you're not running production good. And then last year we were doing about 15 to 20, 15 a week. And now we're about 7 to 10 a week. But this, once again, our market is it's not a retail market. It's a restoration market. So there's not that, people's roofs are wearing out and they're calling us. They're going to wait. I mean, it's a very, very savvy market that they know, you roll up to their house and got a 45 square roof. I got 210 foot of ridge, blah, blah, blah. And what are you going to do it for? So it's like these guys know, they know the products. It's an educated homeowner base. So it's been interesting. So
do you think, I know I want to circle back now to your, so you're talking about insurance and finance. Mm-hmm. Do you think about in your primary business, you think about expanding different markets with roofing?
What do you mean? Oh, different. Going out.
So you're in Lubbock now. So are you looking at different
commercially?
Areas?
We'll always go, anywhere within, I say about Texas, where there's no licensing in Texas, which is, I'm on the RCAT board. That's something we're pushing for. Mm-hmm. We feel that there's a need to have licensed contractors because right now anybody can go start a roofing business and they don't carry insurance and, they don't have go through the proper procedures. And that's always been nuts to me that, you can, roof a $500,000 house or $100,000 house and not have the ability to indemnify that homeowner if something went wrong. And so as an RCAT board, it's important to us that we would like some type of registration and licensing so you can vet, the people that are working on your home, literally the roof over your head. Right. You've got licensed barbers, you got licensed, HVAC guys, you got licensed electricians, and because there's a trades, you need to know what you're doing, and so it's one of those with it's very important that those guys are vetted, and right now they're not. You might get a good one, you might get a bad one.
That doesn't make sense. Well,
it's crazy.
It's crazy to me. I'm trying to find the right word, but a lot of these customers are using insurance. it's crazy that an insurance company would cover for someone that's not licensed.
Exactly. Yeah.
How does that even work?
Yeah, what they do, I mean, it's one of those, like, so in Lubbock, Texas, for me to pull a roofing permit, we just have to have a $20,000 bond that costs, somebody $200 a month, or no, excuse me, $200 total. So, the mortgage company also is on the hook for this stuff. So if that homeowner, has, or the insurance company, if that contractor doesn't do good, then they could end up falling back on the insurance company. So it's interesting because, insurance companies always want to cover their bases. I say that with a big grin. I mean, we work with them all the time. So, yeah. But why they would, that would be, that'd be an interesting aspect to that. It's like, having them having a say so, and who's putting on the roof or doing work because there's a liability and something going wrong.
Yeah. So where are you in that process right now? Like how close are you trying to push that through? I know we're wrapping up the Texas session here.
So our three goals, our number one goal is with the RCAT was to hold our deductible ground. There's guys that don't agree with it, and to change the wording from may pay the deductible to shall pay the deductible, because it left it up to the carriers. Maybe they can ask for payment, maybe they're proof of payment, maybe they don't. And then don't think it's a good idea that the insurance carriers can waive their own deductibles. So get a little deep, but there's MRP programs or managed repair programs, and an insurance company has the right to waive a deductible for, a national contractor. And that's, in my personal opinion, it's unfair trade practice when, if I do their roof, they have to pay the deductible, but if the insurance company's MRP program does it, then they don't. Well, that's not fair. And that's, it's not fair trade practice. So, number one was holding the deductible ground and changing some wording. Second was a UPPA, which is unlicensed practice of public adjusting. Without getting too deep into that, contractors can outstep their bounds and talk policy, which they're not supposed to do, pertaining to the insurance. So but there's a lot of stuff that we have to, like when we're supplementing, there's stuff that it's very gray, and it's contractors have gotten in big trouble for saying, instead of saying you owe this, which to the insurance company, it's not something you can say, because when you say owe, that's something that would say that that's speaking to the policy. It's crazy, but like you owe it because it says that in the policy. So we have to be careful with what we say and how we say it. So getting some of that wording changed up where it's a little bit easier for contractors to deal with insurance companies. And then finally would be registration and licensing. Licensing is far off. It's a really big uphill battle. But last year it was voted down to even have a registration. Just you'll have a registered list of guys who want to put roofs on in Texas. Yeah. And that didn't pass. So we got to really choose our battles, but those are our three main priorities this year or so.
Gotcha. Chris, we're actually over time. I don't want to take too much of your time, and it's been a great conversation. I would say, stepping into the end of the year here, the last half of the year, like I'm going to let this go.
Yeah, it's loud.
Yeah. So I would say last question here, just stepping into the last half of the year. I mean, what makes you excited to go to work every day? What's jazzing you up these days?
That's a good question. I would say just the opportunity to running a business is not easy, but I've got at the end of the day, my goal and my job is to keep my salesmen busy and my crews busy. And that's the challenge. Nothing's ever easy, and especially this year. So just being creative, like we talked about earlier, and finding different avenues and niches. A lot of the money can be made in the niche, and so if it's more specialized products that we put on or services, or even if we went to a more like maintenance agreement model for commercial roofs, which we don't do a lot of maintenance agreements. So just the holding ground and being creative and keeping the morale of the troops. I'm huge on that. I remember I was waiting tables a long time ago, and you get one disgruntled, pissed off, waiter, and then he goes, it just affects the whole team. Yeah. And so making sure that everybody's happy and morale is good, and setting expectations for the guys this year, so that's my challenge, and I look forward to it, and hopefully we'll be successful at it.
Well, Chris, I'm really looking forward to hearing about your success here moving forward. I want to thank you so much for being our first guest here on the podcast at the Texas Roofing Conference.
Absolutely.
This was awesome. We'll have to do this again. Maybe we'll meet each other at IRE.
I'll be at IRE.
Well, yeah, we'll have you back on. Chris, did you have any final words, man in the box?
I appreciate the content. I had a bazillion questions I wanted to ask Chris, so I'll save them for our next podcast. But the insight's great, Chris. And once again, thanks for being our first guest today. I appreciate it.
Man, it's my honor, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. And for our listeners out there, thank you for listening to Built Better. Before we go, show some love for us by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. And don't forget, we've published our Homeowner Insights annual report. That's located on modernize.com/pros. Check it out.